Good evening, all you friends and family members. This is Richard Wallace Jr., Reformers Unanimous Chapter Director number 520, based out of Flower Mound, Texas, with tonight's Director's Daily Dose that keeps the devil defeated. And my, it's been forever since I dropped a dose down, since I put one out. But hey, no time to get restarted, re-energized, revitalized, rekindled, refired, like the president. So here we go with today's Director's Dose. But before I get there, I'm going to pull a section out of Hebrews chapter number 11, the Great Hall of Faith. And let me stop and say, just as a way of advertisement, a way of introduction, dude, I'm really excited about tomorrow night's message. I don't usually promote RU by the message or the title or the topic that I'm going to talk about in the third talk. And rarely ever would I ask you to invite somebody based on the third talk. But I'm going to go and step into a new realm today and ask you to encourage somebody to come with you tomorrow night that might not normally be with us. Because I'm telling you what, we're going to have a good time. We're talking about Trick Yo Ride. Faith, the vehicle to a new life. And so I'm telling you what, some of us have a broken down hoopty of a life, and I don't want to give away too much, but it's going to be fun, it's going to be entertaining, but more importantly than anything, I believe that faith is the thing that's missing in each and every one of our lives from taking us to the next level. And oftentimes people plateau in career or in business or in recovery or in weight loss or all of those things. We get to a place where we become comfortable with where we are, really because we don't have to extend ourselves. We don't have to stretch ourselves anymore. And so I really believe that you'll enjoy tomorrow night. So please come out. Also, as another way to pull some people in, we're going to have a potluck dinner, chili, soup, your favorite potluck dish. But remember, leave the pot and the gambling, get it, potluck, leave it out of the equation. Hebrews chapter number 11, the latter portion of the chapter, we see the writer of the book of Hebrews writing. We'll start reading in verse number 33, who through faith subdued kingdoms, wrought righteousness, obtained promises, stopped mouths of lions, quenched the violence of fire, escaped the edge of the sword, out of weakness were made strong, waxed valiant in fight, turned to flight the armies of the aliens. Women received their dead, raised to life again, and others were tortured, not accepting deliverance, that they might obtain a better resurrection. And we're going to go back to verse number 31, where the Bible picks up reading, by faith the harlot Rahab perished not with them that believe not, when she had received the spies with peace. And what shall I more say? For the time would fail me to tell of Gideon and of Barak and of Samson and of Jephthah, of David also and Samuel and of the prophets, and then into the passage that I just read. And I'm going to take this one word, these three words, of David also. And here's the writer of the book of Hebrews writing to the children of Israel, writing to the Hebrew people, writing to the Jews of that day, and he's basically walking them through a Hebrew history, if you will. The great people of their heritage. It would be like me taking a pen and paper and writing down, bringing back to your remembrance George Washington and George Washington Carver and Ulysses S. Grant and Abraham Lincoln and George S. Patton and Albert Einstein and all of the great men and women that have made up American history. That's exactly what the writer of the book of Hebrews is doing, but he's even taking it a step further, not only to remind the children of Israel of the great people of their heritage, but most importantly, to remind them of the great God of the people of their heritage. And just as a side note, might I say that we would do well in America to get back to the God of the great heritage, the God of the people of the great heritage of America. But that's another lesson in and of itself. But here the writer of the book of Hebrews stops with this man David. And it would have called immediately, the name David, as it does with you and I, calls immediately to our heart that lion that David ripped apart by the mane, that bear there that David absolutely gave the beatdown. That Goliath that David absolutely slew with one pinpointed, accurate, sniper-style shot with that rock and that slingshot. Hey, with this name David, so many thoughts would have been conjured up, and all of those thoughts come to my heart. But when I think about David, I think about the verse that saved my life, and it's tucked away, written by this man David. The great king, the great warrior, the great soldier, the great psalmist, the great poet, the great prophet. Yet this man David says in Psalm 46:10, the latter portion of the verse, he says, "Be still under the inspiration of the Holy Spirit and know that I am God." David allowed his faith in God to bring him to a place of stillness and quietness of soul. My prayer for you tonight is that you will allow faith in God to bring the war of your soul to a place of stillness and a place of quietness so that you can see God do what only God can do. I love you, and I cannot wait. I cannot wait until tomorrow night at 7 o'clock. God bless you all.